All about Form 1099. What is a 1099 and who the heck needs one? A 1099 is a form that tells the government that a person or business you paid should be reporting income on their tax return. So why do you have to prepare and send out 1099s? Is it out of the goodness of your heart to help good old Uncle Sam collect their tax revenue? Nah. You file 1099s because the IRS could fine you if you don't. And because there is a question on your tax return that asks if you sent 1099s. And answering no to that question is like standing up and screaming, pick me, but for something really bad, like a painful knee surgery. So how do you fulfill your patriotic duty and send those 1099s to help bring in tax revenue for the government? Let's learn all about what 1099s are, who you need to send them to, and how to do it. There are almost 24 1099 forms. Wow, that's a lot of forms, you might be saying. The good news is that you probably only care about two of them, the 1099 NEC and the 1099 Miscellaneous. What are these two forms and why are they different? Let's start with the Form 1099 NEC. The NEC stands for Non-Employee Compensation. This is a brand new form for 2020. Some of the payments reported on the 1099 NEC are the payments that used to be reported on the 1099 Miscellaneous. Confusing, I know, but that's the government for you. So what are the rules for filing a 1099 NEC form? Rule number 1. You must send a 1099 NEC to a person or business you paid over $600 for services. This doesn't include materials, just services. So if you are a home builder and you build amazing, beautiful houses, and you buy wood to build those amazing, beautiful houses, you don't have to send a 1099 NEC to the person or business you buy the lumber from. But the contractor you pay to frame those amazing, beautiful houses, yep, you may need to send them a 1099 NEC. Some common types of services you will need to send a 1099 NEC for: non-employee or contract employee, bookkeeper or accountant, attorney, marketing, cleaning, and I'm sure you have other services that will require you to send a 1099 NEC for. Rule number 2, you don't have to send a 1099 NEC to a business that is a corporation, either a C Corp or an S Corp. How are you supposed to know if they are a corporation? You will ask them, of course. You will either call them up, or the easiest and best way is to have them fill out a Form W-9. This form is available on the IRS website and will collect all the information you need from them. Rule number 3, you have to send a 1099 NEC to all attorneys you paid for services, even if they are a corporation. Don't ask me the logic behind this one, other than that the government must really not trust lawyers. Now let's talk about the Form 1099 Miscellaneous and how it is different from the 1099 NEC. The Form 1099 Miscellaneous gets sent to any person or business you pay rent or royalties to. So does that mean you have to send one to your landlord? Yes, you may have to send a 1099 Miscellaneous to the landlord you pay rent to. The rules for the 1099 Miscellaneous are very similar to the 1099 NEC rules. Rule number 1, you have to send a 1099 Miscellaneous to a person or business you paid over $600 for rent or royalties. Rule number 2, you don't have to send a 1099 Miscellaneous to a business that is a corporation. Now that you understand who you need to send a 1099 to, what info will you need to be able to prepare the 1099? First, you will need to know if the business is a corporation. Remember, if they are a corporation, you don't have to send them a 1099 unless they are an attorney. You will then need to know their personal or business name, address, and EIN number or social security number. You can't prepare a 1099 without all of this information. When are Form 1099s due? There are two different deadlines for the Form 1099. The date you have to furnish a copy to the recipient and the date you have to furnish a copy to the IRS. In the case of a 1099 NEC, the deadline for both the recipient and IRS copies is the same, January 31st. Keep in mind that for all of these dates, if the date falls on a weekend, then the deadline is moved to the following Monday. In the case of a 1099 miscellaneous, the deadline for the recipient copy is January 31st. And then the IRS deadline on a 1099 miscellaneous depends on whether you mail the IRS their copy or e-file it. If you mail the IRS their copy, the deadline is February 28th. If you e-file the IRS copy, the deadline is March 31st. The IRS can assess penalties for late filing 1099s and for not filing them at all. These are the penalties that could be assessed. If less than 30 days late, the penalty could be $50 per form with a maximum of $195,500. If over 30 days late but before August 1st, the penalty could be $110 per form with a max of $556,500. If filed after August 1st, the penalty could be $270 per form with a maximum of $1,113,000. If you don't file the Form 1099 at all, the IRS could charge you $550 per form with no maximum. In my 20 years of doing taxes, I have actually never seen the IRS charge a late filing penalty to businesses that made the effort to file their 1099s. This isn't to say that it won't happen, but in my opinion, the risk is more in not making the effort than in filing them late. So I recommend filing the 1099, even if it will be a bit late. How do you file the Form 1099? When you prepare and file a Form 1099, there are several forms. The first form is the 1099 itself. You have to prepare a copy to send to the person or business you paid, and you have to prepare a copy to send to the IRS. You also have to prepare and file a Form 1096, which is a summary form that totals up all the 1099s nice and easy for the IRS. How you file the Form 1099 depends on whether you are going to mail or e-file the copy you send to the IRS. If you're going to mail the IRS their copy, you need a special red form. You would think in these days of technology, the IRS could make this easier and just have a form you could print, but they are using ancient scanning software that requires these special forms. So where can you get these special forms to mail to the IRS? First, you can buy them at an office store like Office Depot or Staples. Second, you could order them online through a retailer. Third, you can order them from the IRS. This option is free because the IRS will send you the forms at no cost, but it will take a while. So if you are in a hurry, this option is not the way you want to go. If you are going to e-file, you have a couple of different options. First, you can use your accounting software. If you're using an accounting software like QuickBooks Online, this software will let you prepare all the 1099 forms, the Form 1096, and e-file them with the IRS. Second, you can have your accountant help you. The accountant will have software that will allow them to e-file the forms with the IRS. Third, you can use an online service. If you Google 1099 e-file software, you will end up with several options. The one I am most familiar with is tax1099.com. Here are some tips to make your 1099 preparation as easy as possible. First, collect the Form W-9 from vendors during the year before you pay them. It is so much easier to tell a vendor that you will trade their payment for the W-9 than it is to chase them around after the fact. Second, if you are using QuickBooks Online, make sure to mark your 1099 vendors. When you set up the vendor, there is a box you can check to indicate they are a 1099 vendor. QuickBooks Online will even let you fill in the EIN number or Social Security number so that it is there when you need it. But Check that 1099 vendor box even if you don't have the information, because QuickBooks Online will bug you at the end of the year for it. The 1099 vendor box is how QuickBooks Online helps you determine who you need to send 1099s to. Third, you can actually file 1099s in batches. Unlike a payroll form, the IRS is okay with getting several batches of 1099s with the summary form 1096 in the front. So if you have all the information you need for most of your 1099 vendors and want to make sure you file those on time, file those. Then, when you get the info from the stragglers, you can file those in a separate batch. Congratulations for taking the time to learn all about 1099 forms. You are becoming that well-informed business owner that is going to have all their ducks in a row. If you need help with your Form 1099 preparation and filing, let us know. We are more than happy to help. You can go to this website and it will have a summary of all the information we gave you in this video and a way to reach out to us. Happy 1099 filing!